Okay, I'm here with Jorge Castro. George, you are Upstream Developer Relations, are you?
Yes.
And you work within the community team at Canonical?
I do.
Okay, so what are you doing here at UDS?
Mostly what I'm doing here at UDS, apart from helping Planet, is to have discussions with, first of all, on the community track, because I'm part of the community team, but also upstreams that are here, so we can discuss how to do better bug and patch workflow. So Mozilla's here, Wine is here, who else? Songbird is here, a few other ones. So really what my job has entailed has been figure out how to measure when our users report bugs in Launchpad, how we can best get those bugs upstream.
Now, is that a technological solution? Is it to do with the integration of Launchpad with upstream bug trackers, or is it an inter-project collaboration problem?
Overall, I would say it's an inter-project collaboration problem, but I think it's more social than anything else, even though there are technical hurdles involved there. So most of it really is having our bug people, really end users shouldn't really have to care, right? They're going to report a bug to Ubuntu, and then the onus is on us to make sure that that gets to the right project. So that part is technical. Right now it's difficult, I would say is the word, to forward a bug upstream from Launchpad. So our Launchpad bugs team developed a plugin for Bugzilla, and there's one for Track, both freely licensed, that an upstream can install in their bug tracker, their Bugzilla or Track or whatever. And that allows it to communicate with Launchpad better, so that, for example, when you report a bug, we have a duplicate detection thing. Right. So one of the problems is if you find a bug in Firefox, let's say, and you go to report that bug might be reported to Firefox already, but really we have no way to tell. So ideally, the plugin, when installed in an upstream Bugzilla, will allow us to do things like duplicate detection, comment syncing, all sorts of collaboration on patches and things like that currently is not available. Now, it's still very new, so it's not doing a lot of this stuff like the dupe thing and that, but we're keen on making that work. Because right now, if you're as a user and you report a Launchpad bug and you give as much information as you can, let's say a stack trace or whatever, right now there's a lot of manual work to get that to the upstream bug tracker. So it would be nice if you were able to fix something yourself, let's say attach a patch. How do we get that into the eyes of the Mozilla folks or whoever, or GNOMers, as fast as possible so they can review that and get that in? And then the other half of the loop, which we call it, is ensure that fix gets out to our users. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making better software for users.
Okay, so how have those conversations been going with Mozilla and other people?
Pretty good. It's a lot of it is location because they happen to be here. But generally, I deal with the major upstreams. I don't deal with on the side of stuff. I like to deal with the smaller projects because that's what I'm interested. But my priority has mostly been on the larger projects like GNOME, KDE, Firefox, the kernel. Natalie, who runs the kernel Bugzilla. So we're going to have discussions with her on how we can do that better.
So are these changes that you think will impact in Jaunty, or are they longer term?
These are longer term. So it's a really difficult problem. In fact, I spent the entire last cycle just figuring out what to measure, because it can't be one of these things where we pick something to measure and then 2 years down the road we realize we're measuring the wrong thing. So we're very keen on measuring the right metrics. So things like percentage of bugs out of total open bugs that are forwarded upstream, and watching that metric. So a lot of work and thought actually went into this last cycle on exactly what to measure. And even then, we didn't get it right. Like halfway through, we decided we were measuring the wrong thing, and we had to adjust and things like that. So once we got that, road in place, now we can start concentrating on actually improving our bug forwarding procedures and things like that.
So is it something that the developers or the maintainers of these packages in Ubuntu will have to make more effort to do? Or is it about how people use Launchpad?
Well, ideally, I mean, it's up to the developers to have the attitude of, I have a patch here. It's their responsibility to be talking to Upstream. But generally speaking, I think we do a good job in some parts, and obviously other parts need improvement. For example, our bug forwarding ratios to GNOME projects have always been fantastic. Because Upstreams that you talk to, people in Ubuntu know who Sebastian is, and you'd go to an Upstream conference like WADEC, and you'd be like, well, how are we doing? And people would say, oh, Seb's doing a great job, and Seb's doing a great job. That's all fine and dandy, but it's really nice to have numbers to back that up. Because I know for sure,
And that's what you were demonstrating earlier in the week, a big report tracking thing where you could see how many bugs have been filed upstream. Right.
So that's called the Upstream Report, and that's what I've been working on that cycle. Graham Binns implemented it. I actually don't code. So yeah, once, and it was kind of weird because I demoed it, and it's like a big grid of numbers. So at first, it kind of like stabs you in the face. So we're getting some ideas on how to make that easier to use and not so, trying to make it more digestible for people, I guess is what I want to say. And then it gives you like a 30,000 foot view, because we do the top 100 projects sorted by open bugs. And looking at it, you can kind of either give it a big thumbs up or thumbs down, generally speaking, on how we're doing. And it points out areas where we need to be improvement, or where we need to improve, so I can say, you developer or maintainer of foo, did you notice that, your percentages of upstream bugs are dropping? And it's not really a blame game as much as it is understanding why that is. So, it might be that upstream may be, renamed, or they had a major release and decided not to care about bugs in, in an older release or something. It's different for every upstream.
Okay, so apart from the bug tracking thing, what else are you taking away from this UDS?
Mostly it's the people. I mean, it's been a busy week. It's been frustrating at times, and sometimes the discussions are a little bit heated and stuff. But at the end of the day, the reason we're here is to make Ubuntu better. And Jono's introduction, basically nailed that home. So we can either continue with the status quo or we can win. And I believe that. So yeah, mostly it's a remotivational thing, falling in love with Ubuntu all over again.
And the people that you meet at UDS as well, and sort of rekindling relationships and things.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a social aspect, and it's really inspiring to be around so many bright people. And not just Ubuntu developers, but, guests that attend, or guest speakers, or some of them might drop by from an unexpected upstream or something like that. And it's just, my brain always gets bigger when I'm at UDS.
Okay, I understand you're going to be inflicting your guitar playing on people at some point.
Yeah, so Friday night we have this event called Ubuntu All-Stars, where we have our, we work hard here at Ubuntu, but we also like to play hard. So, yeah, we're just going to jam. We're going to have a live band. And the live band happens to be Ubuntu developers, so it's going to be good. It really is a nice punctuation point to a great event. So
excellent. Okay, well, thanks for talking to me, George.